Y'all just foda, né?
Hello and welcome into Atlas Thugged. If you are not aware, absolute chaos broke out in Atlanta regarding an Antifa attack on a future police building. I mean, don't get me wrong, I don't like the police either, but I wouldn't be doing nothing like this. Absolute chaos. I mean, we're going to have it pulled up for you here. Beautiful thread from Andy No. Andy No covers Antifa almost exclusively. He is famously known for getting the cement milkshake thrown at him, which caused him, I believe he got serious trauma from that head injury, and then famously went back to Portland, I believe it was Portland, and then was creamed again. And if you want to, I'm not going to show it here, but you can look up photos of what Andy No's face looked like after Antifa got a hold of him. Not a pretty sight. Anyways, from Andy No. Violence has broken out in Atlanta as supporters of the domestic terror-linked autonomous zone #StopCopCity attacked the future public safety training facility as revenge for their gunmen being shot dead and their comrades being charged with domestic terrorism. Now, what you're seeing here is the construction facility being lit ablaze. I mean, fires all along the facility. There is a viral video that's going around that's about 20 seconds long. It just shows like power lines being set ablaze over where the construction area was. And I mean, loads of cop here, but the video we're about to watch shows them retreating. I mean, I would not want to live anywhere near here. I don't know about you. I may agree with the sentiment to stop Cop City, but brother, that is civil war. He continues, I mean, this is a beautiful thread. You can find this on Twitter again from Andy No. The violent attacks in Atlanta today were organized. The direct actions were promoted weeks ago on the main account of the group presenting the domestic terrorism movement to use violence to prevent a first responder training center southeast of Atlanta. And you can see pictured here, this is from Defend the Atlanta Forest. A week of action to stop Cop City has been announced for March 4th through 11th in Atlanta, Georgia. And it reads, "We are all forest defenders. Week of action." Now there's more video as more people got their cameras out to view the situation. So many cops, dude. Like, my gosh. He's saying this is a pre-planned riot. It's another revenge attack for law enforcement stopping their violent autonomous zone occupation. But look at these pictures right here. If you want to know what civil war looks like, this is a taste. This is what your cities will look like, letting this stuff run rampant. Antifa media group Unicorn Riot says police retreated after the far-left rioters overtook an outpost and began destroying it and starting fires. The rioters are part of Defend Atlanta Forest, an armed group that occupied public land for months near Atlanta. 19 of their members have been charged with domestic terrorism. He goes on, the Antifa account AFAI Atlanta Anti-Fascists uses Twitter to immediately fundraise for their violent comrades who are being arrested at the attack in Atlanta. And I'm sure they're going to get bailed out. Look at this. Atlanta Solidarity Fund. But man, don't be a chucker and use GoFundMe. That's for sure. I mean, this stuff's pathetic, bro. Now, what are some of the reactions you get from people on the left about this, right? So this is from Ed Krasenstein. And this is in response to Marjorie Taylor Greene calling out Antifa after what we saw in Atlanta to be a domestic terrorist organization. This is what Ed Krasenstein has to say. Republicans love to believe that Antifa is some violent organization being run by Democrats, but that's not true. Here are the facts. Well, first, I think if you just shown anyone that video, regardless of what their political leaning was, it'd be like, oh my gosh, like, what's going on? And then to capitulate that it's just like it's being run by Democrats or to paint this narrative. Being run by Democrats, no. It's a bunch of loosely linked chains and loosely linked groups, like affinity groups. But to say that like the Democrats haven't actively bailed out these people or financially assisted them is just downright lies, bro. They lie to you. You can look up the funds they put out for these people to get them bailed out of jail, specifically when it came to the Chaz Autonomous Zone. Anyways, he continues. His first point. Antifa is a decentralized worldwide political movement that consists of hundreds of autonomous groups. It's not an organization run by any one person. It's not an organization that has any set of rules, bylaws, or even beliefs. Does that disqualify it from being a terrorist organization? I don't believe so. I don't think so. What is that non-point, Ed? Antifa simply stands for anti-fascism, and anyone who identifies as Antifa is simply saying, I stand against fascism. You have to, I'm not even going to read the rest of this because it's just going to piss me off. He must think you're retarded. He must actively think you are just so stupid that you don't, that your eyes must have deceived you when you see all this nonstop inundation of what Antifa does and the things they abide themselves by. And the firebombing and the tearing down of cities. And he ends this with, it's impossible to designate Antifa as a domestic terrorist organization because there is no general Antifa organization. There's just an attempt by Republicans to fearmonger yet again. All of this, all of these fires, everything burning down, the hundreds of people chasing them out. This is all Republicans fearmongering. This isn't that there's organized groups doing these kinds of activities, the police retreating. This is just, look at this. This is the Republicans fear-mongering. This, because there's no general organization and be domestic terrorists. Yep, getting the firebombs launched at them. I mean, let's just play this out, man. You're going to actively look at me in the eyes and tell me what these people are doing isn't domestic terrorism. That because there's no overhead organization that garners strictly to an adherence of beliefs that they can't be deemed a domestic terrorist organization. Even though they're all wearing black gear, hiding their masks, specifically all doing the same actions of firebombing, the same things. I mean, here's the main point on this. Hundreds of people destroying city planning, a construction site for a specific purpose for the community, for cop training and first responders and all of that. That is not an attack on the community. That's not an attack on the American infrastructure. That it's not ideologically backed or abided by. I mean, look at I showed you the tweet from the Krasenstein brother, or one of them. They gaslight you. You look at that and you go like, dude, that's terrifying. Like, I wouldn't be anywhere near that. And he goes, that's just what the Republicans want you to think. We have nothing to do with them. What? What is that? How does that negate the fact that people are terrified when they see these things? And they don't want any part of them, and it just destroys things, and it takes us back, and it progresses us in no way, shape, or form, and it only causes damages to people and innocent lives. It's so destructive. Just, why can't you admit that? What is there to gain by making this a right versus left thing? Again, ultimately, I understand why. I understand why it's a left versus right thing. I do. I understand. But I'm saying to you, the absolute outright denial, when you see these videos, to say, those are not acts of domestic terrorism. When everyone watching, reading, looking sees the same thing or the opposite thing with their own eyes, and you're sitting there telling them, this is just the Republicans fear-mongering. Nothing to see here, move along. Democrats aren't involved. You have to be stupid. You have to be just stupid. But listen, like, this, we all can see it. We all can see that there's a rampant increase in the frequency and the volume and in the scale at which they're willing to go. Now, to be fair, we've not seen a lot of uptick in group kind of chaos like that since the lockdowns were fully enforced. But here we are, the weather's getting warmer, and just like it's like as predicted, here we are once again. The weather gets warmer. Here comes Antifa. And go ahead and protect yourself. Go ahead and try to brandish a firearm. Go ahead and try to insinuate that you will defend your property, and the government will come and they will seek you out. How dare you defend yourself? How dare you threaten the lives of these Antifa rioters? How dare you? Pathetic. Hope you're as angry as I am. Anyways, peace.